Well, hello. Hey, there we go. Cameras are on. I don't have the thing that shows me when the ads are coming on anymore, so apologies for that. You may just end up with ads, but so be it. Welcome in. Happy Monday. Hey, Struggle Buzz. Hi, buddy. How you doing? Hope everybody is doing well today on the various and sundry platforms that my presence is broadcast on. That being primarily Twitch and YouTube these days. But that's where I am, and that's where you are if you are seeing my face and my rambling words. Today, we are back on our indie tabletop RPG deep dive bullshit, and that bullshit today will be represented by Here, There, Be Monsters, a game by Wendi Yu that I'm very excited to dive in on, because this one is, look, some of the previous games we talked about were already anti-capitalist and just revolutionary on general principle. This one is very explicitly. It tells you it straight up front, and it takes its time letting you know what it is. And then lets you be all sorts of crazy shit. Now, to be fair, I have not opened up this book yet. I got this game a while ago, and I flipped through the pages a little bit, and I saw, hey, that looks really cool. I need to dedicate some time to that. So then I put it down. And then I keep thinking, like, oh, I can't do that book justice. So finally, I now have an excuse to spend some time with Here, There, Be Monsters, and finally dive into what this is. Now, I have no idea what to expect. I don't know if this is a good game, a bad game, a game at all. I guess we'll find out soon enough. But in the meantime, thank you once again for joining me. I sincerely appreciate the time spent here. It's it's fun. And with a quick hydration, let us switch our screens over and see what we've got. So, which one of these is the overhead? There we go. Boom. Look at that cover. Look at that art. Absolutely horrifying. Just get ready. Get ready. So some other games that we have reviewed have been low on the art. This is almost more an art book than a game, it feels like. There is so much art, so much design in this game, and I absolutely freaking love it. I am excited to dive deep into this book. Just looking at the back real quick, and let's see here. Struggle Bus catching up on chat real quick. Struggle Bus, today is lame. Server form changed locations where I do my analysis, so all my stuff that I used to work currently doesn't, and you're trying to figure out, back end changes without letting everybody in on the other side know. Oh yeah, I've been through that. I have been through that, my friend. Do not envy you that particular task. Good luck with it. I will endeavor to keep you mildly amused by going through this book as I do. And look, the back cover of the book, we're just going to go ahead and read it because everything in this back cover of the book just speaks to me, makes me happy, makes me smile. Hunt monster hunters. Punch Nazi occultists. Eat the rich. Protect each other. Fight back. Here, there, be monsters. And that's just fun. That's just fun. That's a good time. I just, from the vibes, from the front here, everything, I am pro this. Let's see, torches and pitchforks are raised. Book at least matches your teenage angst vibes. Yes, look, it is edgy. It is edgy as fuck, but it's edgy, I think, in a good way. It's the edge is aimed the right direction. Again, just immediately as soon as we go in, we get hit with some fun art. All right, so we're going to do a lot of reading from the beginning. I mean, this is just the credits. Go ahead and take a look. But even here at the beginning at the top, this game is for the monsters, the weirdos, the freaks and sickos, the insane and the cripples, the trannies and fags and dykes, cunts and thugs and whores, the fatties, the junkies, the illegals, the terrorists, the exotic, the undesirables, the degenerates, the vermin, the suspicious, the anomalies, and every single body who was ever branded for its monstrosity. So we've got an audience here. That's all of us. Hey, hi, that is the target audience. I'm just gonna copy this, and as I'm working on my business plan, I'm gonna just say this is my target audience for everything that I'm gonna be working on. We haunt them because they know they are not safe as long as we're still here, and we're not going anywhere. Yeah, it is a heck of an opener. Like, this game is explicitly anti-capitalist, transgressive, queer. It is a step up in what we've been seeing so far. And so I'm real curious to see how it delivers, because it definitely opens up strong. Again, keep in mind, I have not actually sat down and leafed through this book. This is my first time going through here. So if you are surprised by things, I will likely also be surprised right along with you. That said, so far, really digging this, really digging this. And by the way, Soul Muppet Publishing, Soul Muppet also published Cantrip, and I think is also the publisher of Brave Zenith, which we're gonna look at in a future stream. So that's fun, because you remember Cantrip, you remember the sweet little teenage witches. Yeah, no, same publisher. They do a lot of stuff like this. Good times. All right, so the rest just the thanks, which, if you pick it up, which I recommend you do, there's all the thanks that you can go through. Now, let's a little bit more warning here. And this one's mostly in Spanish, so it's more artistic poetry. But the word of warning, again, this is content warning for both the stream and the book going forward. So that I should say, this stream may not be entirely safe for work unless you work from home. I don't expect there to be any explicit nudity or anything crazy like that, other than just artistic body parts. But as the book says, a word of warning, this book contains bodies. Lots of bodies, both referenced and illustrated. Some of those bodies are naked. Some of them are monstrous, grotesque, horrific, in many different ways. They were not made with the purpose of being offensive, but if any of that makes you uncomfortable or disturbed, be advised to proceed with caution. There are also mentions of neo-Nazis, billionaires, aristocrats, and cops, all of which are supposed to be punched. All of it. On the other hand, here there be no elves or spiders whatsoever. So at least you don't have to worry about spiders or elves, or I guess driders, drow in general. We'll see how that goes. All right, so here's the premise of the book and or game, I'm guessing. Let's see. A premise, and we start off again. They just straight up tell you they are not hiding anything. This game assumes an explicitly queer and anti-capitalist take on the urban fantasy genre. You don't need to be queer to enjoy it, but I don't think capitalists are going to have much fun here. No matter what they tell you, there's still weirdness and wonder everywhere. You just have to know where to look. At the edges and cracks of normal life, we exist. We persist, and we resist. The monsters, the magicians, the anomalies, the freaks, and the outcasts. We gather in the shadows, trying our best to live our lives in a world that, when it doesn't exactly fear or hate us, doesn't even believe in our existence. Yes, I know this can be a metaphor for queer experience, but it's not just that. This is about the monstrous, the abnormal, and the weird, in any flavor you want, not as something to be feared, but to be cherished and protected. Alas, there are people out there who can't stand this. They work from behind the scenes to protect quote-unquote normality at all costs. This means getting rid of us by any means necessary. They are often successful, but not as much as they'd like. Even so, they are resourceful, and they're good at what they do. There are also those who would use the magical and the unusual for their own purposes, be it profit, knowledge, or power, which one could argue are the same thing in the end. These are even more dangerous when they manage to get what they want. But we're still here. We're not going anywhere. And we fight back. So that is the premise of the game. Again, I am so far fully on board. No idea what awaits me from here on in, what kind of system it is. For all I know, this requires, the randomization mechanic is actual human sacrifice. Do not know. Let's find out together. We continue with the badass art. This is like some Japanese like Oni style art. And this is okay. So this looks like setting a beginning. So one thing, okay, as excited as I am about this, let's see. I guess this seems like it's taking. Let's see. Do we have a table of contents? No, I don't see one. I see a list, which I'm excited to go through. A list that goes on for a long time, but my excitement for this game is a little tempered by the fact that apparently there is no table of contents or index of any kind. We just kind of hop right in, which is a choice. That's a choice that this game has made. Cool. But I have to docket some points already. I no index, no table of. No, okay, fine, no index. Indexes are rare in these games. We've found, but not even a table of contents. How am I supposed to find stuff? Let's find out. I guess let's read RAFO, read and find out, right? So the setting, this appears to be a beginning. You are all members of an organization, all bold in the organization. You're all members of an organization dedicated to protecting the weird, the monstrous, the anomalous, and the magical. You are also, in some way or another, weird, monstrous, abnormal, anomalous, or magical yourselves. Preferably for me, you're a bunch of anarcho-communist queers as well, but you do you. No judgment. Just know that no bigots of any kind are allowed to play this game, at the risk of being hexed, cursed, and otherwise jinxed. Remember, no bigots, only Bigfoots. I like that. I definitely like a no bigots, only Bigfoots. I want that on a shirt. That should be on a shirt. And in this book, there should be a table of contents. Shirt should be on me. Table of contents should be in the book. Just saying. Your group is not all-powerful. It is not associated with any government or corporation. It is definitely not structured in a militaristic or hierarchical model. It does not have stuff like a quote-unquote budget or quote-unquote orders from the higher-ups. It is, however, organized and coordinated. It has to be. It was created with some goals in mind. Protect others like you from persecution and exploitation by people like the Bureau or the Brotherhood. More on those later. Prevent stupid assholes, like Nazis, from using magic to achieve their nefarious goals. And overall, keep the world weird. Alright, solid plan for the game. I like it. This sounds like something I want to play so far. Shame I can't take a look at a table of this table of contents in this book is going to be my gunslinger for this book, isn't it? Well, I mean, it's still early. We still might run into an actual gunslinger. Let's find out. Okay, and then this I'm going to read through because this is great. This again is the promise. We've spoken about this in previous games. This is the promise of the game. Right? This is the promise that they're going to make us the kind of settings and influences they want, and then as we go through, we'll see if they actually meet that promise. So the things that they are bringing in. This game is in a way a response to a lot of things. Most of all, Hellboy and the BPRD and the SCP Foundation. Fuck yeah, love those. But also books by Neil Gaiman. God, I'm not going into the quote-unquote controversy. I'll just say Neil Gaiman is pretty much dead to me these days, but I still appreciate a lot of his old work. At least his work wasn't quite as problematic as the archvillainess with the mold, with the black mold infection. Anyway, particularly American Gods, Anansi Boys, Neverwhere, and the Books of Magic, all of which are fucking foundational works, and I have read and loved. Charlie Strauss from the Laundry File series. Now there's a callback for really people who've known me online for a very long time and know about Fandible. That's a callback, the Laundry. And games like China Mieville, specifically Kraken, which I need to reread one of these days. I love China Mieville. Everything, all of these influences are influences that I grew up with or went into later on. All of this stuff I like. All of this. So far, I am 100% on board. Let's see. And games like Delta Green or the World of Darkness universe. Again, this is my setting. This is my people. I am on fucking board. Some of it was taken from a forgotten Dresden Files RPG campaign I planned many years ago, and some of it came from the notes for a novel I'm writing as a middle finger to some transphobic fantasy writers. So I think they just mentioned Voldemort. But also, again, Dresden Files RPG. That's the game I ran. It's also influenced by getting annoyed at how many Nazis there are in occult circles. Same, same. Overall, it's my take on the urban fantasy genre and its tropes while feeling monstrous myself. It's taking bits and pieces from all those different things and stitching together a monster in my own fractured image. Dresden Files, holy heck, right? Right? That was not only, there were two entire, I guess, campaigns, separate sets of characters and arcs in that one. Not one we're likely to go back to anytime soon, especially since I would, maybe I could see myself maybe doing some kind of like, I think there is like a Dresden Files Accelerated. I could go back and look at those rules, but like I don't think Fandible gelled very well with Fate in general, or even Fate Accelerated. Like I get the feeling that the gang is not a big fan of that particular system, so not sure if that's one that we'll ever go back to. Let's see. But Jesus was a were-emu. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. That was the first series where Jesus was a were-emu. Fuck that. Fuck yeah. It was a good time. It was a good time. Also, it helped that like most of the crew, or at least three of us, because I don't think Dave has ever read. I don't think Dave has read the Dresden books, and I also don't think Angela's that big a fan. But Billy, Jesus, and myself, we were big fans. All right, this is a game about monsters, anomalies, magicians, and other weirdos fighting back and protecting the oppressed against those who would exploit and erase them. And punching Nazis, of course, for all Nazis must be punched. You know, this video is definitely not staying monetized on YouTube. Like, I think I managed to avoid, you know, cursing in the first 5 minutes simply because the first 5 minutes were the stream and the music. But I have a feeling, I mean, not that I'm terribly monetizable right now. I'm definitely nowhere near the numbers to be monetized. But were I to be, Jesus Christ, this stream would have gotten me entirely demonetized. Good times. That said, I was going to say, I note that the colors of this, again, the author has made several references by now already to being trans. And I think the colors and the design on these pages that are talking about the reasoning and influences in the game are probably no coincidence. Yeah, once the book got cracked, the explicit content flowed. Exactly. Like this was page 1. This book was like, hey, fuck you. Which, you know, great, because it's specifically saying fuck you, Nazi assholes, which I am pro. And I'm sorry, YouTube, if that means I can't make money off of this video because I advocate fighting Nazis, then, you know, I guess I'm just gonna have to suck that one up. Oh well. Before starting the game, okay, so good, a quick discussion early on. No table of contents, but at least we're talking about safety tools, which are tools that facilitate the creation of a comfortable and safe environment for all of you. Good. So just, again, I'm always a fan of having some of those mechanics already spelled out in the book for people that are not going to go out and look into these systems if they haven't encountered them before. That said, safety tools are very common in indie circles anyway, and especially in queer and trans circles that overlap with tabletop RPG worlds. And you know, it's okay. It's okay. I would have preferred give me at least the X card, which is the simplest one. Just explain what the X card is. You don't have to go into the full details of lines and veils and script changes and whatnot, but just explain what the X card is. You know, and then let us know that there are other tools, and then we can go. That to me is kind of a minimum. This is still a minimum. It is still meeting that, and I appreciate that it's there. I'm a big fan of that, always. But, you know, just saying, like, my personal preference is to provide the minimum necessary tools in your game. Assume people are not going to put down your book and go look for something else. 2 out of 4. Forgot you finished one with an A. True. Yep. And then next step is creating a manifesto together. And this is new. This is kind of session 0 stuff, right? But because this sounds like a preferences list. Next up is creating a manifesto together. Take turns declaring an element, any element you'd like to either have or not have in your game. For example, I want meat witches. Sure, meat witches. That's what you want. You don't want cell phones. Fair. She wants tentacles, or they don't want capitalism. All of these are true statements. In case of any disagreement, state your arguments and have a vote, or flip a coin, whatever works for you. The list is finished when someone says something like, okay, I think we have enough already. So it's kind of a vibey, just like go around the table and say what you want to see in this game and what you don't want to see in this game, and kind of hash it out between yourselves. That's basic agreement finding mechanic. I approve this. I approve this. This is kind of what I'm talking about. This is okay. Like they could have said like have a session 0. And left it at that. This, even though they don't call it a session 0, they call it a manifesto. This is still basically a way to have a session 0, to sit down and go around the table and say the things you're okay with and you're not okay with, set expectations for the game, all that stuff, good stuff. Appreciate that. And so it's definitely a before you play discussion. Yeah. Set the expectations from this is your first RPG perspective. It's great. Exactly. And again, I doubt these games. A lot of these games kind of assume, at least they do at least skip what things like some of the bigger, more mainstream games kind of have to do, which is have that session where they explain what is a tabletop role playing game. I've seen some indies that also do that. I try not to do it in mine because, again, the audience that we have knows what a tabletop role-playing game is. Tell me about yours specifically. Is there something about yours specifically within the tabletop RPG group that I should know about? So, for example, rather than explain to me, this is what is a tabletop role-playing game, and then going and within that this is the difference, just go like, no, this game uses cards as a resolution mechanic, or this game does not, it's a GM-less game, etc. Like, tell me what sets you apart. Assume that your audience, especially in this arena, knows what a tabletop RPG is. Say that you are a tabletop RPG, but you don't need to explain it. I think this fits that fairly well so far. And then finally decide which one of you will play as the person formerly known as GM, DM, referee, whatever, who mediates conflicts, calls for roles, narrates the adventures, and plays the NPCs. Come up with a title for them. I'll call them the organizer for now. So, interesting place to put this. I like that you don't choose an organizer until you've already gone around the table. Usually the organizer kind of takes lead on this, but I like the approach. I'm guessing in most games, the person who bought the book will probably just volunteer to do that. All right, and then we're into the game, I suppose, immediately. So let's see. Your character. Come up with a name and or call sign for your character, what the others can call them, and the pronouns they use. And immediately anybody who was on the conservative side that was somehow still here. The moment they saw the word pronouns, that's it. They're gone forever now. Or they're leaving angry comments as we speak. Either one I'll take. Think of a background for your character. What did they do before the story began? And again, look at so much art in this game. Alternatively, you can also roll 1d100 on a list of pre-made backgrounds starting next page. The suggested backgrounds give you ideas for your tags, which is bolded and seems to be a game mechanic. And again, we begin with my usual bugaboos. PC page, where are these defined? If you're gonna bold it, I know this is a game term, kind of, except these are just suggestions. Do what you want with them. But like, where are tags defined? What do those mean? I don't know yet. I don't have a table of contents or an index. I know this is a group of anarchists, or just the one anarchist that wrote this. Wendi. I'm with you. I am with you in spirit, in solidarity. I love everything you're doing here. I would love it more with a table of contents is not. Uh, I know it is inherently hierarchical, but in this case, it's more of a map or not a, you know. Anyway, this just backgrounds give you ideas for your tags and if why you can use magic. A few of them also include custom mechanics. Those are just suggestions. Do what you want with them. If you're only interested in the more regular human character backgrounds, roll 1d20. If you want to open it up a little for more supernatural options, roll 2d20 and add them together. If you want all the options, roll 1d100. All right, you know what? Let's do what they say. So let's roll a couple of times because how many? Let's see how big this is. Yeah, there are 100 options. I am not going to read through every single background. I also would just feel bad just reading all of these out one by one. There are literally 100 backgrounds, and each one has, their own mechanics and things. This is wild. So I'm going to do this. I'm gonna roll twice for a regular human character background. My expensive robo ring is flashing the camera. Stop that. And then I'm going to roll twice with the 2d20 and only take results of 20 or higher. Or 21 or higher, because otherwise you would have already gotten a result like that. And then we're gonna roll 2 times, or maybe even 3 times on the D100, and only accept results higher than 40. And that if that doesn't give us a good cross section of what's in here and what to expect, then what else can I do? But otherwise, you gave me a table and a way to roll on it. I'm gonna take that way. But also, yes, Strolbus, that's a lot of backgrounds. A lot. So let's start with the more quote-unquote regular human ones. All right, so roll once. That is a 9 that we're seeing right there. So 9 on this table is, we're just gonna go to the page. We're seeing like so antiquarian, artist, bartender, clown. Holy shit, the art on that clown. Also, great clown Pagliacci mentioned. And okay, 9 is a doctor, but also a filmmaker. That's, yeah. I can understand wanting to have all the things Shadowrun lore fans previously described on the channel, but I'm certain there has to be overlap that could have been used. Mythologies and cryptids are cool, but there's still consistent themes between them that can flavor. True. We're just going through the game and seeing how they've handled this. Because, yeah, there are so many things in here. So after the rolls, then I'll go back to the table. Actually, I might just read through and see. But first of all, I want to be surprised and discover. So doctors. So let's see what it says about doctors. How did you end up here, Doc? Do you know how to care for non-human bodies? Do you know how to use anomalous methods to treat your patients? And if so, are you willing to? How valuable are your medical skills for the community? Define your medical specialty with a do tag. Again, I get that you're very proud of your 100 backgrounds. I do love me a big table. I spoke on that on a previous review. I want to just crack open the weird book and just spend an entire stream just rolling on it. But also, you're giving mechanics, you're giving me game terms. I don't know what they mean. How am I supposed to choose one? I mean, yes, I know I'm supposed to choose one based basically on vibes, but I'm playing a tabletop role-playing game. Different classes, different backgrounds have abilities and tweaks and perks and stuff. It matters to me what they can do in the context of the game and the game mechanics, and I do not understand. I mean, I can pick up some of it by reference, you know, like they do tag and take a first aid kit as a hab. So it sounds like you will have tags that relate to what you can do and tags that relate to what you can have. it sounds like. I guess we'll figure that out when we get there. But cool. Okay, so doctors, you're a person. You get a medical specialty. You get which is within your do tag. So you gain the ability to do medicine, do a medicine specialty, and you have a first aid kit. All right, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Nothing too crazy there. Let's roll a second d20 and see for another human. Whoop, another human thing. 10. Now that's right there. But I guess okay, fine. And then we'll just look through the up until 20 real quick. So it's a drag queen. You better lip sync for your life, girl. Your makeup is your armor. On stage, you're unstoppable. But what about your life off stage? Give yourself a couple of shiny be or do tags. So it sounds like we have tags for stuff that you can be and tags for stuff that you can do. That showcase your performance skills and add your stage paraphernalia as a have. Okay, so we've seen 2 humans already, and it sounds like the general character thing that you get with your background is specifically defined a pair of tags, either do's, be's, or haves, and an item. And that's the main thing that your background gives you in this game. That's what it sounds like. And the other human backgrounds, let's see, digital influencer, filmmaker, hacker, journalist, mechanic, musician, private investigator, retired football player, secret agent. I don't think balance is I don't think balance is very important in this game. Teacher and writer. So okay, so those are your basic bitch human backgrounds, and then we start going to alchemist and alien. Okay, so now we're doing the you know what? We're just gonna assume we rolled the 20, and then we're gonna roll a second 20 and add it to that to see which one's the second set of backgrounds, the semi-human backgrounds or the magical, human plus backgrounds we get. So let's see. The first one, that's a 12, which makes us a 32. So let's see here. Ooh, so yeah, chosen by an elder god. I like that one. An escaped human sacrifice, ex-cultist, family cursing hunter, fire starter, magician, medium occultist, an oracle, and a 32. Ooh, a possessed, and they get their own art and everything, which is that looks painful. The possessed. There's someone or something else inside you. Sometimes you can keep it in check. Sometimes you lose control. Sometimes it takes over your body. Where do you go when it's in charge? How well do you two get along? How green is your puke? Ask someone else to write half your tags. You can use those if you allow whatever's possessing you to take over for a moment. They can take a magic tag if they want. You probably can't. Okay, that's kind of wild. That's kind of wild, the mechanics on that one. So your tags, and again, I guess at some point we'll get an actual explanation for how many tags we get and character generation, I'm guessing at the end of this list. But half of your tags will be created by somebody else, and you only have access to it if you let the thing possessing you. Okay, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I guess you're trusting the other player not to screw you too much. But yeah, it's a trust exercise, I guess. But I dig it. It's kind of fun. All right, cool. So, and then the second one, let's see. That's a 15, so that's a 35. So see, preacher, reanimator, and straight up on 35, shaman. You're supposed to be wise. Are you? You are the keeper of the knowledge of your ancestors. You have access to the spirit world and beyond by entering a trance. You're a healer, a guide, a seer. Do you feel up to the task? Do you get into trance through song and dance or other methods? Take a magic tag and a have tag related to your practice. Okay, interesting. I guess we'll have to see what magic looks like with the magic tags. Yeah, because look at the telepath right here. It's like, treat your powers as if you're using magic, but you can only use the magic word mind. So there's definitely got to be some kind of magic system, which we would know about if there was a table of fucking contents. Anyway, other things that we could have been: an underworld explorer, a winged person, just a person with wings, a witch, and a witness. And then at that point, after this, we go to aliens and anthropomorphic manifestations and stuff. So, I mean, let's look at anthropomorphic manifestation right there before we do any more rolls, because I'm going to have to dig out a D10 somewhere so I can... Where's my dice? Where's my dice? All right, we are once again doing a callback to the die RPG dice, but it's what's going to happen because this is where my D10, my closest D10 is. So we'll use that for rolling. But let's just read anthropomorphic manifestation, because this is actually a pet concept of mine. I like these. I like being the physical embodiment of a something. For some reason, I've always liked that concept. So you're the physical embodiment of something. What is it? You have an enormous power over this domain, but only this. How did you come here? Have you existed as long as the thing you manifest as? Or are you a recent arrival? Were you summoned to this plane? Have you spontaneously appeared? You may take a magic tag if you want, but you can only use magic related to the thing you manifest. Interesting. All right. Cool enough. All right, so let's roll a couple. And if we get anything under a 4 on the first roll, we re-roll. So that's a 4 to start with, and 46. So a bunch of goblins in a beekeeper suit. Well, that's a 43, but also that one's kind of called out to me. So this was a freebie. We're just going to check this one out as a quick freebie. A bunch of goblins in a beekeeper suit. Nobody took you seriously before, but now they see you eye to eye. Well, one of you at least. Whoever is the head today. Now, how many of you are there? And why bees? Take that suit and a smoke machine as have tags and beekeeping as a do tag. You can be an Atlantis refugee, you can be an automaton, and 46. Hey, Bigfoot, the classic. No bigots, only Bigfoots. You're not very photogenic, but that's all right. People keep trying to catch you on camera, but you just want to be left alone. Why is that? Do you feel lonely? Are you the last of your species? Are you a missing link? Are you just very large and hairy? How big are your feet, by the way? Okay, so that's cool, but also no mechanics at all. No haves, no do's, no be's, no skills. That's it. That feels like it's missing something. Everything else has something. Maybe, yeah, write your tags accordingly. I guess we'll see what happens once we get to actual tag writing. All right, let's roll for a couple more, because that was the really only one. The others were just on the way there. So let's see. So, 96. Let's go all the way to 96. Oh, right there. Ooh, visceral hunger, which looks like it might be this art here. Let's see. Your brain, what can you do? Are you psychic, medium? You decide. Yeah, yep. Oh, yeah, the brain in the jar here? Yeah, you're a brain in a jar. Yeah, you get to decide exactly how you got that. I mean, I'm fine with that. This is a basic concept, and then you build around that. The only thing about Bigfoot, I guess, is that I feel like there are mechanics missing, given that almost everything else we've had has had some call out to the mechanics, right? Anyway, let's look at the visceral hunger, because I guess the further in you go, yeah, the weirder they get, like a super smart simian or a Morlock or an ooze. Okay, wait. Anyway, let's go back. Visceral hunger. You've been around for a while, old, decrepit, and unseen. Some say you're the doom of the displaced, the desperate, those who yearn, who starve, who have no choice but to do the unspeakable. For others, you are the unspeakable. You've got antlers, or maybe horns, and you're always so hungry, never sated, no matter the size of the sacrifice. What is it that you crave? Flesh? Revenge? Oblivion? Get a magic tag if you want, but only use it when you've had a taste. So it's this thing, but also I have a feeling like this might also just be this thing? I don't know. Let's roll again and at least see it one more wild monster. No, let's re-roll. All right, 66. Let's see. Could have been nice. Hey, there's vampires. Vampires get a whole page. with a whole bunch of details. Look at that. So 66. We're just going to kind of leaf through them as we go, and that way we get a quick view of what we're missing. Like a trickster, Saki, reptilians, Rakshasas, polymorphs, puppets. Oh no, creepy. You can be a creepy doll. Who doesn't want to be a creepy doll? Penangalians, everyone's secret or also secret kink, a hot witch with a faint vinegarish smell whose head can separate from their body and fly away, dangling bloody entrails included. That one's... I mean, I'll see what I can do about not being a creepy doll, but no guarantees. No guarantees. Oozes, Nagas, and Morlocks. Oh my, Merpersons. Oh, I love that Merperson art. That's dope. I really like the Merperson art. Let's see. Oh, here you go. Living Shadows. Ooh, I might be a living shadow. I like that concept. Yangshi, Genie, an invisible person, an insectoid, an immortal wanderer. If you want to be Kane, here you go. You can be Kane. It's a selectable character class. Homunculus, homeless domovoi, headless person. Ooh, that one's nice and in topic for the season. You can be a headless person. Wait, did we pass? Oh no, 68, 66 is a Gorgon. Okay, so we got a half demon and we've got a Gorgon. This is the Gorgon art, given the hair. The hairs there. Also, they did warn us about the bodies. Let's see. Gorgon, peep. Oh, we're off to the races with this description. People get hard looking at you. Stone hard. Literally. How do you feel about that? It is said that you have snakes for hair, acid for blood, scales for skin. Do you? And how do your powers work? Do you need to cover your face or eyes so as not to turn everyone to stone, or can you control it? Can you look at yourself in the mirror? Write your tags accordingly. Treat your powers as if you were using magic, but could only use the magic word stone. Solid. All right, last one, and then we'll move on to the actual system. That's a 2. That's a 5. So 50. Yeah, that's I believe that's the 0 on this day. So 50. Good. Same direction we were already headed on. So let's see. You can be a goblin. In addition to 3 goblins in a beekeeper suit. Freed familiar. Ooh, I like that. Look at that art. Fox spirit. Ooh, fish one. A fish one. Cool. Because we don't want to get in trouble with the estate of Lovecraft and call them deep ones. A failed experiment. Fae. Nice. Encantade. A guardian and a healer. An elemental, a duende, an ectoplasm. Just ectoplasm? Not a spirit, but not really a body anymore, just kind of gooey. You used to be a medium, but something went wrong. You stuck as an ectoplasm. Oh, that's weird. I like that. La Cuca, Dragonborn, a changeling, cat person, centaur. Okay, so cat person. First of all, sorry YouTube. Artistic boobies, I guess. Anyway, that's a centaur right there. Let's go with the cat person. I'm just gonna go ahead and just so YouTube doesn't freak out too much, I'll put a restraining hand over the wild centaur boobies that we have just been treated to. Enjoy. Cat person. Woo woo meow. You're probably trans or something. They could have just left it there. Also, you look mostly like an unanomalous human with some feline traits. How many and which ones do you have? Pointy ears, fluffy tail, vertical pupils, fangs. Depending on what traits you have, you will also have corresponding abilities, such as, but not limited to, pouncing, jumping, seeing in the dark, heightened senses, commanding an army of otakus, etc. Write your tags accordingly. All right, good enough. Good times. I like that. Let's just see which others. Okay, we already saw Bigfoot and Boto. What's left before that? Yeah, we saw this stuff already. So we got a pretty good tour of the various classes and backgrounds that this game offers, which are varied, very varied. Again, I don't think this game concerns itself too much with quote-unquote balance between them. But also, let's see what it looks like once we get to the actual right system, which I personally feel, again, I get the urge to have all the character types up front before the system. Many games do it, so this may just be young badass Kilonian, and then you look. If you roll 100, you literally you got inside the game somehow. Don't ask me how. That's totally your fault. Get a B tag like trapped in a game or something, and write the others based on your real life. Good luck. So isekai, there's an isekai option, and I approve of the isekai option. That is a good option to have. I'm glad it's there. Now we're getting to actual character creation, and since we're 50 minutes in, I'm going to take this. Hey Himang, welcome in. Yeah, I started a little bit. So my streams, I'm trying to do them from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, but some days I start a little later, just as things go. But usually my streams are going to be 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern, and there might be evening streams some days, but I'm not convinced yet. But yeah, that's there. But hey, Himang, welcome in over on the YouTube side. It's always good to see you. Although you came in just as I was about to say that, and Twitch says hi, welcome in YouTube. I was about to say I'm about to step away for 5 minutes to refill my water before we dive into the mechanics of this weird-ass game that we are looking at today. But as always, I appreciate you popping by and saying hello. We're putting in a quick bookmark, and I will be back in 5 minutes or so. So please enjoy yourselves in the meantime. Get something to drink, stretch your legs. We will be back shortly. Oh, it is 12:21 for a.m. in the morning. Okay, yeah, no, I mean I'm guessing it sounds like India. I'm not sure I'm not sure which side. I think you mentioned it one time. In any case, yeah, that's definitely pretty far away. It is almost 3 p.m. for me over here, so pretty far. That's time zones are wild. I do have to go. I will be right back, however, please hang out. I will be back in 5 minutes, and thanks as always for hanging out. I'm gonna say that was 5 minutes or so. I got my water, I petted my cat. Construction continues to go on outside my window, and I don't know if any of that will be coming through on the audio, but we're getting back to the game. So let's go ahead and change the thing here. There we go, back to it. So honestly, considering that we're basically already at the midpoint of this book, because of all the art and just how much of this we're kind of skipping over, because I'm not going to read out every single character option out of the total 100 that we have, although I appreciate having them, very much so. But we might just get through this whole book in this one stream, and if that happens, I'll probably end early. I'll probably just end early. And then, based on that... Well, but then based on that, I've got some editing to do anyway. First of all, for this video, and second of all, I have the script written for the proper review of Penumbra City. I think it's a pretty good one, but I don't want to say when that's actually going up, because I have no idea how long it's going to take me to record, or more importantly, to edit that one, because there will be editing in that one. Not the kind of editing I've been doing for these streams where I just throw it at the robot and tell the robot to just cut stuff out. There's this program called Descript. It's really fucking good for just this just taking stuff like this and cutting it down and helping you just edit out the chaff and stuff like what I'm doing right now. All of this is going on the cutting room floor later. But then still, these streams are rambly enough that I don't want to, even though I am posting them on the channel as Indie TTRPG deep dives. I am keeping them separate. These are deep dives, and I'm keeping that as the terminology for these, not reviews. Reviews, I want to sit down and after going through the game, parse my thoughts and put it together. These are deep dives. They're reviewy kind of deep dives, but they are deep dives. The reviews are going to be much more focused. For example, there will not be an aside like the one that you are, suffering through right now. So let's take a look at what I'm hoping is actual character mechanics and generation now. In this game that, while I am digging the vibes in so many ways, I don't know if I can forgive the lack of a table of contents, but here we fucking go. So, let's see, character generation. Describe what your character looks like. Ask another player to give a small detail they think is fitting for your character. Use it if you like it, or twist it in your own image if you don't. And then assign 2 tags for each of the following words. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. I like this a lot. I may steal this. I've seen other games that will do some level of character, and I've seen some more in-depth and more formalized, ask the person to your left this specific question, stuff like that. This was very simple, but I like it, and I would encourage this in almost any game, honestly. Because this is just specifically like your looks. These are your looks, right? So decide what your character looks like, and then ask another player to give a small detail that they think is fitting for your character. Use it if you like it. Like that little collaborative thing, and having somebody else just add something, and of course then having the freedom to reject or adapt it. But in my experience, pretty often, like, people will give you an idea for your character, you're like, oh, that's really cool, and you'll want to go with it. So yeah, I like that. I really like that little bit right there. Okay, now actual mechanics. So now we're getting the tags for the verbs. So we definitely have a be, have, and do verbs. And default character creation apparently is that you assign 2 tags to each one of these verbs. So the be verb, defined as anything that significantly defines your character. For example, deeply empathetic, amateur coroner, none more goth, life of the party, etc. Have verbs are anything important that your character carries with them, literally or not, such as my mother's sword, a worn grimoire, a broken heart, the hopes of my people, etc. And then do. The do is anything that your character knows how to do especially well, such as car theft, kung fu fighting, talking myself out of trouble, eating literally anything, etc. All right, so So this feels like this is not that different from, or feels like, how can I put this? Fate. We just mentioned Fate. This looks a little bit like Fate. These are aspects. They are kind of separated into be, have, and do, but they're called tags here. But they feel to me a lot like Fate aspects. Maybe, I mean, we'll see how they actually do mechanically, right? But the first impression is very aspecty, which I'm not opposed to. I think Fandible may have had some problems with Fate, but I personally do not. I like the concepts behind it. I like the concepts of aspects and all that, and I do use that in my own games. I have similar things like this as well. See, tags are not rigid. You can have friends in high places, or you can be friends with influential people, for example. Good to know. Be flexible. Figure them out. Word them however you need to word them. Solid. If you want your characters to use magic, aha, I do, pretty much always. If you want your character to use magic, you need a magic tag. That means that one of your tags, be, have, or do, you choose, should explicitly state that you can use magic in some way. Okay, look, more on how magic works at page 108. A page number. A page number. It's not that hard. I just want more of these across all games. Please, games, do this. I'm gonna have to review a Monty Cook one, a Numenera one, or something, so you can see an example of how that works. Because they're I think ahead of the pack on that. On just, they love using weird little terms, but they're much better at pointing you at where they are. At least in my memory. I may crack one open one of those books and find myself betrayed, but I feel like they do a better job of that. See, aspects take a little to get used to, but work fine otherwise. The struggle bus can also turn into an assist roulette until someone tags all those aspects to go all out. True, true. And I mean, look, no mechanic is perfect. So, but I generally like the approach, but it definitely takes, you have to approach them carefully. You have to know how to deal with aspects and be flexible enough with tags. And also the systems themselves give you ways to do that even when you don't have an explicit aspect for something. And it is in Fate, just like it can happen in like Powered by the Apocalypse type of games, where if you don't have a specific tag or aspect or bless me, that's how that works when you're alone. But if you don't have an explicit tag or aspect or whatever for an action, that doesn't mean you can't do anything. There are defaults a lot of the time, right? And for those games, I mean, almost any game, and I think I've seen that as a criticism of like skill lists, where if you give a skill list that's too long, then people feel like, oh, it's got to be comprehensive. So if it's not on the skill list, that means I can't do it. Versus a skill list that's too short, and then you're like, well, these categories are so broad that I don't know what I need to use for my specific action, or there's overlaps that don't make sense, stuff like that. Or just because I'm good at this one thing doesn't mean I'm good at this other one, but based on this system I am. So there's a lot of back and forth, and I don't know where the precise best, quote unquote best, if such a thing even exists, balance is between no skills, just make it all up, versus a defined set of skills. I tend to err on the side of something like what this game is doing, where there is a number of tags, number of specific things that you will have, and they will be specifically defined, but they are not meant to be rigid or entirely comprehensive, and they are not restrictive. They can be prescriptive a little, but they should not necessarily be 100% restrictive. Doesn't mean that your character can't act if the specific tag or aspect related to the action is there. You should be somehow able to be flexible in almost any situation, which is, to be fair, a hard balance to hit. So, but I like this approach so far. From what I'm seeing, I like it. And now we've got some optional mechanics right up ahead. Interesting that we're a page and a quarter into their base sort of like character creation mechanic, and we're already getting optionals. Bold move, but they might be good optionals. So let's see. Let's take a look at them. If you're playing a campaign or longer game, I mean, to be fair, I've fallen into that same trap myself, because as I'm writing the rules, I will come across like, oh, you know, what would be an interesting option, and then I'll add it, and I'll add it right there as a little sidebar. It is tricky to know when to add those, but it does feel like optional stuff might be kept to the end of a chapter rather than introduced immediately. But it's a stupid criticism. I'm just being nitpicky, as I often am on these streams, and as always, it means nothing except I'm kind of a dick sometimes for no good reason, even to games that I love. And so far, this is one of them. Let's see. Optional mechanics. If you're playing a campaign or longer game, you can use the following guidelines for advancing character arcs. Okay, so just from this, it reads like this is the kind of game that's meant to be kind of very one-shotty. So the fact that advancement mechanics are presented as optional mechanics, this is... Define two things your character wants and one thing they need. Their wants represent their conscious objectives. Their need represents some things that they have to go through, but not necessarily something they want or consciously know about in order to grow or give their story a satisfying quote-unquote ending. These are not fixed and can change as you play, and the story leads you to places you didn't anticipate. Examples of wants: avenge the death of my parents, become the master of my craft, find a cure for my affliction, learn the secrets of the old world. Samples of needs: overcome a trauma, learn to care for the small things in life, accept myself, find forgiveness. So it sounds... This isn't character advancement. Oh, so this is advancing your arc. Okay. See, this is narrative advice. I don't... This feels weird. I don't disagree with it. I like it. But then you would have needed to maybe establish earlier on, hey, this is a game meant for short, punchy, single sessions. And then arcs, narrative, greater. If you're going to play multiple sessions, here's how you introduce, here's a way to introduce narrative arcs to your PCs. I don't know. I kind of want... I feel like I want and need this to not be optional. In the sense that even in a one-shotty kind of vibe, I think this would be useful for character motivation. I think this is like, as everything else is something you have, or you can do, which is good. But this is character motivation. This is uniqueness as well. And I feel like this should not be optional. I feel like this should be part of character creation, one shot or campaign. We'll see what there is, if anything, in terms of character advancement. Again, we're not seeing stats here. Hopefully, I'm guessing character advancement will be just adding more tags as you grow, if such a thing. If even there even is character advancement, we'll get to it soon enough. But in terms of a character arc, you can have an arc even in a one shot. So I feel like this shouldn't be optional. I feel like this should just have been presented. Okay, that's my own complaint. That's not even a bad complaint. It's like, I like this so much that I don't think you should make it optional, is the worst thing I could say about this. Yeah, and then so here's actual advance. Never mind. See, this is what happens when you start reading and you're discovering page after page. Apparently this is mechanical. Okay, yeah, wow, this is... So this optional rule, optional mechanics, is 1, 2, 3... Basically 3 whole pages. And... wants and... Yeah, because beats are related to wants and needs. I mean, we'll read all this now. And then there's all this thing, all this stuff, which we'll get through. And then we go to... Okay, and then we continue. describe how they. So yeah, again, all this stuff like this should not be optional. This should not be optional. Like this should not be optional. This should maybe be in its own separate character advancement section, or maybe a little bit. Again, there's no table of contents. There was one. I like the vibes, I do, but man, I like the looks visually. It's a gorgeous book, organizationally. Okay, we'll get to it. We've got more to go through. Let's see. So let's look at these mechanics real quick. Character gets what they need before getting what they want. I like that. That's the thing. Again, I'm complaining about it, but also I like the mechanics that we're getting. I'm just complaining about the order in which they're presented, I guess. So take those complaints with a grain of frickin' salt. But I like this. I like this. Like, it matters if you get your need before your want, or if you get your want without your need. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what that means. But I like that there's that distinction. That is very cool. Very cool to me. Let's see. If your character gets what they need before getting what they want, they can either retire in peace or receive a revelation that will make all roles related to their wants easier. Interesting. All right, explained below. If your character gets both their wants without getting what they need, oh yeah, right, because we established that you write down one need, or two wants and one need. So if you get your one need before getting either of your wants, then cool. If your character gets both of their wants, but they don't have what they need, then the wants will turn out to be not as satisfying as imagined, and you can either give up and retire your character or make them go through their darkest hour, see below, to receive a revelation that will make all roles related to their need easier. Interesting. So it is, in a way, character advancement, because it has a mechanical effect. It has a mechanical effect on your roles. Interesting. Whenever you want or need, define your character's darkest hour. So, okay, let's define that. This is the lowest point in their story, the inevitable moment where they have to face their deepest fears. You can choose to play it out or just narrate it, whatever works for you. All right. So that means if you get both your wants without getting your need, then you can, if you choose to, basically reach rock bottom. Go to your darkest hour. And then receive a revelation that literally affects your roles, affects your mechanics. Interesting. Both wants and needs have beats. Beats are steps your character has to take in order to get what they want and what they need. Beats are not necessarily the same as successes or achievements. They are narratively important moments and can even include failures and defeats. When playing, assign 4 beats to each of your wants and your need. Each time you reach a beat, you can change all the other remaining beats and one of your tags for something else. If you can justify how that makes sense in the story. Every time you reach a beat, you can change all the other remaining beats and one of your tags for something else, if you can justify how that makes sense in the story. Interesting. So when you reach a beat, cross it out. Each beat crossed makes the roles related to reaching the next beat in the list harder in the following order. After beat 1, roll 3d6, take the 2 lowest results. After beat 2, roll 2d6 minus 1. After beat 3, roll 2d6 minus 2. Again, would have been nice to know what this means. How much is this actually hurting me on the mechanics? I don't know. Organizational issues more than anything. This is interesting, though. Each beat crossed also makes easier the roles related to the respective wants or need that could end in dying or quitting. Roll the 2d6 plus 1d6 for each beat. Take the 2 highest values. Okay. We're gonna take a closer look at this. The wants and needs system is intended to provide you with open-ended long-term goals, but if it still feels too restrictive for you, here's we have an alternative to the optionals. Don't worry about general wants and needs. Instead, come up with 2 short-term beats for what things your character wants and 1 for what you think they need. When you reach a beat, cross it off and come up with the next one. Everything else works the same. Okay, so and then after all that, we're gonna go back real here, but after you create your character, describe how they met, how and when did they join the group, and what unites them beyond their missions. Okay. So let's go back here. So Wants and needs have beats. Beats are steps your character has to take in order to get what they want and what they need. Beats are not necessarily the same as successes or achievements. Blah, blah, blah. So, when you reach a beat, cross it out. Beats are basically very wishy-washy. You get, I guess, the organizer primarily is going to be deciding, but as a player, I would tell you probably like, hey, let me know if you think something is a beat story-wise. And you're going to have to make this real clear to the players what a beat is. And a beat is like a narrative beat. It could be a high point, could be a low point, but something that feels important to the story of getting either their want or one of their wants or their need. Okay, cool. We're clear there. And then each beat. So they do define not necessarily narratively important moments. Sorry, I'm thinking because I thought it said, okay, so there's 3. Maybe reach a beat, cross it out. Each beat. I wonder if there's a character sheet. I don't think so. Let's see. Haven stuff. Conditions, magic. Oh, yes. So much stuff for us to get to. But we're still going through the basic system. But okay, so I don't see an actual character sheet. All right, so that means going to assume there isn't one, which fine. But I don't see like a number of beats maximum. You can just keep accumulating them. So okay, so let's say you can accumulate 3. After 3, I guess it doesn't matter that anymore. I guess the 4th beat, you got your want or your need fulfilled. Sounds like. It's the general idea. But when you reach a beat, you cross it out. Each beat crossed makes the rolls related to reaching the next beat in the list harder. Oh, okay. So it's easy. So specifically for if you're using the wants and needs as narrative goals, then that's tricky. That's tricky because it's going to require a lot of judgment at the table to decide whether a role. That's a lot to put on a player and a GM. I'm going to say, I mean, I like it. I like the narrative aspect. I like it, but you're asking a lot. You're asking a lot here, and I feel like maybe this deserves a little bit more explanation because you're asking for a lot here in the way these beats are handled. Okay, I can see now why you feel like maybe these should be optional. Because I guess, especially for a group, I can see why you think they'd be optional, but I still don't think they should be. Because this is really interesting. Like, it makes it every beat you get makes it harder to get the next beat for that specific thing, which makes sense. So you're working harder, you're finishing the things, you're putting in the effort towards getting the thing towards an actual resolution. So I like that, and that's wild. Each beat crossed also makes easier the roles related to the respective wants or needs that could end in dying or quitting. So it's also easier to fuck up and give up in that. I think it's interesting. I would have to see what that actually plays like. But I think it's an interesting mechanic. I'd love to get people's thoughts on that. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. All right, I mean, let's also take a look and see what... Because we still don't know what the actual mechanics are. We're talking around the mechanics. I still don't know what the actual resolution mechanic is. And I've complained about that. I feel that your resolution mechanic is more important even than the character types. Like, that should be give me the setting and then give me, this is the kind of game you're going to be playing. You're going to be rolling 3d6. Or you're going to be pulling a card. Or you're going to be rolling d20s. But, like, I feel like, to me, your core game action resolution mechanic should be right up front as soon as possible. Again, even before you get into the system, I need to know. Like, do I need to roll high? Do I need to roll low? Do I need to create a dice pool? Just those basic concepts alone are going to make it so that then everything else in your game, everything else, every other page I go through, I feel like I already know what's going on. And I know, okay, cool. I see what that means in this game. Versus here, there's so much as like, okay, that's interesting. Like this whole mechanic, that's interesting. I don't know yet how I feel about it because I don't know how good or bad this actually is in terms of the game mechanic because we haven't seen the game mechanics yet. It sounds like the basic game mechanic, again, from reading around it, from, you know, chipping away at all the bits of the block that aren't shaped like an elephant. It sounds like your basic, you know, game mechanic is to roll 3d6 and take the highest, or take the 2 highest, because then after B1 is roll 3d6 but take the 2 lowest, and then after that it's roll 2d6 and minus, and then 2d6 and minus 2. Or is it add? Okay, so it's, you know, it sounds, we're guessing. I guess we're gonna see. We could just flip the page and keep going. But this is my point. I feel like I have to now figure out this system before you even tell it to me because I'm being given mechanics that I haven't figured out yet. And because you don't have a table of contents, I don't know where the game resolution mechanics are. Come on, come on. I love this game. I'm getting frustrated at the book, despite how beautiful it is. Beauty and usability can both coexist. All right, well, anyway, let's find out. But it sounds like you roll 3d6 and then add the 2 highest is what our mechanic is. Let's find out. This is the way of tabletop RPGs. Yes, this is sadly enough the way. So your group, come up with a name for the organization you're part of, decide together on structure and scale, how many people are there, da-da-da. Ideally, each player could create one non-player character. Something important kind is your group is a community. That means the relations between its members. Okay, this is good. This is just setting stuff. Don't worry about figuring it all out right now. You're just kind of figuring out what your specific group of friends, the people around the table are. Which solid. And hey, look. Here's this I like. More games should include this. They tell you, hey, figure it out. Here's some guidelines. Figure it out. But also, here's a table that you can use. Optional stuff. And again, cool art. I do love that about this game. So much cool art. Very nice. But see, look, roll a d12 as much as you want to and choose between the options you get. So yeah, so let's build a quick community here. See what that looks like. See how that goes. Put the d10 back. Take out a d12. And let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So I'm going to roll, d12, come on. That's a 10 on the d12. So a 10 takes us to, okay, so you either have trusted leaders or have no leaders. Let's go with no leaders. No kings, no gods, no leaders. 10 again. No, let's reroll. 11. This dice likes to roll high. Well, as an 11, you are either well supplied or you have scarce resources. Let's say we have no leaders but are well supplied. And at the table we would go like, well, how? Like, how are we well supplied? Do we have like, you know, are we in the middle of a trade route? Do we have a bunker with supplies? Yeah, well, these are prompts. These are prompts that we can use. Like roll again, get a 1. No, that's a 7. And a 7 would mean that we are either close-knit or full of internal conflicts. Again, you decide which direction to go in. I like this. This is prompts for conversations. Cool. Approve of this. More games need this. Catching up on chat real quick. Let's see. Delicious and wonderful lore and mechanics that make you say, but why? Exactly. All right, so group NPCs. Look, here's some examples. Well, I know vampires because they suck. Examples of how to make a quick NPC. And here's a few that you can just use. And you can just roll. Let's roll a d20 twice and just look at a couple of these NPCs real quick. So, lucky number 13, Pillow, a genius homunculus who knows everything about philosophy. And I'm sure homunculus is actually one of the character classes. Let me see. Let's look at this table real quick. Let's see. Let's see, is homunculus an option? Homunculus, number 70. I'm curious. What's the specifics about a homunculus? Because we did kind of just go right past. Okay, homunculus here in the bottle. You're an artificial human made in a workshop long, long ago through the wonders of alchemy. How old are you? Do you know where you were created and how? What are you made of? Clay, blood, meat, shit? All of the above. Do you need an external power source? Write your tags accordingly and take a tiny you that becomes a bigger you if you pour some bodily fluid of your choice over it as a have. Ooh, interesting. So that's one. A genius homunculus knows everything about philosophy. Let's get a second NPC real quick out. That's 4. Cool. Other page. 4. Cos, or as some say, cosm. A kind polymorph who can't help but open every forbidden tome. These are cool, cute little NPCs. I like them. Little examples. W.L. Alex, a flirty kung fu wizard who loves taking psychedelics. Hey! Yeah, these okay, so it's cool. So you've got your group, you've got some NPCs. Now we're talking about your haven. Again, love the art in this game. Your haven is your community's home base. It is a safe place where you go. It exists in its own pocket dimension, apart from baseline reality, and it's accessible only by the group's members. That's dope. Decide together on size and features. Okay, this is fun. This is just fun base building. Take turns adding characteristics to it. Roll 1d10 as needed on the next table page for inspiration. Okay, so we've got some. Let's again, if we see a table, we gonna roll on it. Take out that d10 again, and let's go. So let's roll once for each. For physical structure, utilities, internal vibe, and access mode. So first roll is a 1 for physical structure. So we've got a studio apartment. That's a 2 with a swimming pool. Oh, that roll. That's what is that? That's a 2 again. Now let's just roll something different. Oh, that's a 9. So 9 is nine is clean. I was gonna say gay vibe, which is not always related to clean vibe. Having lived with a few gay men in my life, I'm sorry, you guys are messes. So yes, okay. So clean vibe. So a studio apartment with a swimming pool and a clean vibe that you access through the tunnels. All right, sure. It's a bit Mad Libby, but I dig it. I like it. And you like I said, that you can just keep rolling until you're done, until you feel good about it. This is very vibe-based, but I like it. Okay, our game. Here we go. Hopefully, actual resolution mechanics. This page here. This page here. This just needed to be like here, even before this. Like it should be between these 2 pages. Our game. That's where this should go. Just saying. Make it easy to find. I would not find this normally. Our game. Do whatever you want and deal with the consequences. Well, we've done that, and the consequence is that your mechanics are hard to find. If you try to do something with potentially dangerous or uncertain outcomes, or if the stakes are just too high, roll 2d6 and add them. Okay, so it's not 3d6 and pick the highest, just 2d6 and add. If any of your tags could help you with this action, roll 3d6 and use your 2 highest. Okay, so we kind of had it figured out. We kind of had it pegged. And then you're based on your roll, on your total. So as you add them. So a result of 6 or less is either failure or a success with disastrous or completely unexpected consequence, which the organizer decides. Okay, I like that. Fail forward. A total of 7 to 9 is okay, but narrated by the organizer. A 10 or more means you did good, and you get to tell us how you did it. Combat is not special. Just do the same stuff as other actions. I like that. I like it when combat is not special. I like it. So let's do some actions. So let's say we are trying to fill out our taxes. So we have no tags that apply to that. So we just roll 2d6 and add them. That's a 2 and a 5. That's a 7, which is 7. Okay, but so I made it, but I didn't get. There were some deductions I could have made it, and I didn't know how to put them in. So oh well. Okay. Now, if we had a tag. We were actually an accountant tag, we would have rolled 3. Oh, that's a 6. That's a 1, so that's a 7. That's a 1, that's an 8. So it's still an okay butt because we got a pretty... Well, no. 8, no, we only add 2. We don't add all 3. We just add the 2 highest. So that would be a 7, which is still okay butt. So maybe let's roll again. So that's a 3 and a 1 and a 4. So 4 plus 3, again, 7. Definitely raises your chances to succeed being able to do that. Yeah, this is a game... I mean, it is kind of a 50-50. Yeah, I guess it boils down to kind of a 50-50 chance of success for 7. Yeah, it feels 50-50-ish. I would have to look at the actual, like, per probability tables. But it feels like basic success or fail is close to a 50-50. All right, cool. You can deal with that. All right, let's look at the rest. So now we're into conditions now. Let's see, conditions. Whenever you fuck up, get hurt, or something happens to you that has potentially long-lasting consequences, take a condition tag, such as lasting headache, broken arm, nausea, really loud and squeaky shoe, horrible smell, acid trip. Okay, cool. When making a roll, if a condition get in your way, roll 3. Okay, so there's advantage and disadvantage, basically, system. I dig it. And if tags would help, they cancel and you just roll 2d6. And a maximum of 3 conditions at once. You can get rid of them by taking narratively appropriate actions. Okay. When you already have 3 conditions, the next time you should take one, roll a d6. A 5 or 6 means you get to narrate how you miraculously escape it. A 1 to 4 means that either this condition or one of the previous 3 becomes permanent, and you'll have to swap out one of your tags for it with an appropriately dramatic scene. The next time another condition becomes permanent, your character either dies, gives up, or if using the optional wants and needs rules, swaps one of their wants to get rid of this condition or one of their needs to learn to live with it. Interesting. So this is your damage mechanic. These are your hit points. Finally, magic. We do like magic. Let's see. If you are a magic user, give yourself a tag that says you can use magic. Your magic tag. In return, write down 1d4 magic words from the d66 table below, representing spells that you can easily use. If you cast a spell that uses one of those words in any significant way, roll a d6 for each word used and keep the highest. This die is the measure of how well you did. A 6 means an awesome success, and you get an extra positive effect. A 4 or 5 means you get exactly what you wanted. A 2 or 3 means you were just okay, and the spell has a lesser effect. And a 1, it goes horribly wrong and backfires. All right, we're gonna roll this. Well, let's look at the how they describe it. Be creative about how you use your magic words. Puns are not only allowed but encouraged, which means I'm gonna suck at this. But Dave, and Billy would absolutely rock at it. Some specific backgrounds will suggest alternative ways of using the magic words. For example, the pyromancer's powers are like using magic, but only with the magic word fire. Telepaths only have the magic words mind or emotion. This is a shortcut for representing other supernatural powers that are not exactly magic while still allowing for failure and cleverness. You can use those as examples for your own uncanny abilities. As with everything else in this book, you don't have to follow those rules. Beyond the magic words that represent your specialties, magic is playing dice with the universe. To cast a spell, say what you want to accomplish with it, think of what can happen if it goes wrong, then wager something in return for the power you need. If the spell goes wrong, you don't lose whatever it is you wagered. Okay, that feels like there should be more. But there is. Okay, here we go. Yeah, there is. If it goes right, roll 1d6. If the result is a number from 1d4, you lose the thing being wagered. On a 5 or 6, you can keep what you gambled, but it's somehow wrong now, as part of its own being has been spent to power your spell. Huh. You can bet anything from magical artifacts to your own soul. Those souls are cheaper than they sound. The higher your bet, the higher your rewards. The weirder or more emotionally significant your wager is to you, the more complex or powerful the desired effect. If you bet one of your tags, which means betting a piece of yourself or something with similar importance to your character, e.g. going back to square one on a want, sacrificing a loved one, you always succeed. Roll d6 just to see how big your success was. On a 1d4, your success was 1 to 2, your success was mediocre, 3 to 4, all right, 5 or 6, awesome. This die also says if you lose the tag, if your result is 1 to 4, or if you keep it, but it's all wrong now, and 5 to 6. Tell everyone else how that happens. If you bet... Okay, we're going to read the whole thing, and then we're going to go back. If you bet an artifact, which I guess we're going to get an explanation on next, or something of similar weird or supernatural properties, or if you take a condition, you can cast a spell the same way as with magic words. That means you roll a d6 for each thing you bet and take the highest result. Each die also determines if you lose the stuff being wagered. For every other thing being gambled, decide among the table how valuable it is for your character. On a scale of 1 to 10, roll a d6 under or equal that number. If the spell goes wrong, okay. And if it goes right, it does. Okay, wait. So, because I don't know if this happens every time. Sensitive backgrounds, you can use those as examples. Beyond the magic words to represent your specialties, magic is playing dice with the universe. Okay. So, you can, if you're using magic. So, first of all, so this is not well explained, unfortunately, but let me see if I got this right. So people with specific backgrounds that say you have magic, but only with the magic word fire, and it's like using magic, that just basically means you're going to use this part of the rules, of the magic rules for that, and that's it. But if you're an actual magic user, you're going to have your magic words, and this is the system for a solution, but also you can just cast a spell which does not use any of your words if you're like an actual sorcerer, wizard, magic person. And then that mechanic requires bargaining and promising something. And that sounds, this one sounds, it's complicated. It's basically 3 pages of stuff. My only concern is, of course, that this is very much a negotiation. I think it gives you some examples of what that looks like. But I think when you've got something this big where you can literally gamble away like your soul in the game, you should probably give me some more examples of how that works. Give me at least 1 or 2 just little example bargaining sessions and how that would have worked, because I don't see that here. And I think I could have, if I was going to run this, I would have definitely loved some guidance there on just what are you picturing here, right? But let's take a quick look. So let's say we have some words. So we are a wizard, and we're going to write 1d4. So I'm gonna assume it's 4 of them. So I have 4 words, and it's a d66. So we roll 2 d6s. So roll d6 once with a 1 and a 4. So 1 and 4 is heat. So my first word is heat. That's a 6 and a 1, which is emotion. All right. 5 and a 2 is void, and 5 and a 2. No, that's 5 and a. Seriously, really just void. Thank you. One more time. That's, what are the chances? 6 and 3. Okay, and force. So heat, void, heat, emotion, void, and force. So those are our 4 magical words. So let's say I want to cast a spell of cold, and I combine the words heat and void to effectively cancel my heat. Right? That might be an option. In that case, I'm casting a spell with my magic words. So I would roll a d6 for each word and keep the highest. And the more words you use, the better your chances. Cool. So with those 2 words, I would roll a 6 and a 6, which is fucking amazing. And my spell freezes the room up or whatever. Okay, cool. Fairly simple system. Yeah, super awesome success. And I get an extra positive success. So all sorts of good stuff, apparently, from trying to do that. Dope. I love it. I like it. And then this is the part that's more like, okay, I feel like I should have something more on that. And I'm not quite sure why exactly it is. But... well, no, I know exactly what it is. It's because you're making a negotiation. Anytime you're going to make this a negotiation back and forth, which is cool, and I appreciate it. But again, I would like a little bit more guidance. I would like a little bit more guidance because it's the kind of stuff that's easy to not know how to take it, and it's easy for players to want to look for loopholes and abuse. So you're going to want to give me a little bit more guidance on that. It's just what I'm saying. All right, let's kind of continue now with artifacts. Cool. So again, they're another thing we can bet, which is cool, especially during magic, but also presumably they have their own effects. So let's see, artifacts. Okay, so whoever this is in chat here, I'm just gonna go ahead and just go away. Bye. Okay, let's just hide user on this channel. There we go. There you go. Enjoy that. Enjoy that. Now, sorry, Twitch folks. YouTube was getting kind of weird. We had a weirdo being weird. Artifacts. Artifacts are magical items with very specific usages. They can also be sacrificed to fuel spells, as we saw here. Cool. You can start with one magical artifact in addition to your have tags. You can acquire more during your journeys, up to 3 at once if you can use magic, and at 2 if you don't. Interesting, and there's a limit to those. An artifact can have either a passive or active effect. Whenever you activate an active effect, roll a d6. A result of 5 or 6 means it's depleted. Passive artifacts change you over time. Every consecutive day of using them, roll a d6. A 5 or 6 means it has a random unexpected side effect, which you can decide. Oh, okay, cool. And again, very, very sort of flexible, very timey-wimey. Lets you decide what you want to do with it. So here's some example artifacts. Let's just roll on this. This is what, a d12? All right, yeah. Let's roll twice on the table and see how that goes. So that is an 8. So the first one is 8. An ugly yellow beanie, which is a passive artifact that makes its wearer look extraordinarily beautiful to everyone. All right, cool. I like it. Nosferatus would kill for that one. And then that is a 2. A 2 is a cursed blade, an active one. Good, I was hoping we got an active one. That when coated with the user's blood can cut through any material. Okay, so there's some example artifacts. I like these. I like this is a good approach. Good approach. Okay, and that appears to be it for the system. Now we're getting to meet NPCs and enemies. Let's see what we've got here. All right, okay, before we move on. Cool. I'm actually pleased. I'm pleased. I'm pleasantly surprised by the magic system. It is very, very, very flexible while still being surprisingly simple and straightforward. I would have liked a little bit more guidance on how to manage all the bargaining and back and forth that would happen with this whole system that you're explaining here. But I do like it. I do like that you can basically have a magic system that can cover pretty much any magical effect, and it's there in 4 pages, 2 pages if we didn't have all this badass art, right? So I like that. I definitely like that, and I like the effects, the artifacts and stuff. Again, focus on weird and rule of cool more than balance or specific mechanics, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with the kinds of games that I want to run. I'm perfectly fine with. All right, so now some people to meet and possibly punch. So these, I'm assuming, are the evil factions, or maybe not, because no, definitely evil, because the Bureau are the bad part, are bad people. Yeah, the Bureau are the people in black suits and dark shades. You know, the ones, and they know you know. Careful, they may be watching you right now. So the Bureau can also be known as the Agency, the Foundation, Redacted, and other vague epithets like that. Their actual name probably forms a 3-letter acronym. They are the ones who seek to preserve normalcy at all costs. So this is the technocracy. The Bureau is a technocracy. And okay, so this is more for the GM. This is more for the organizer and how you find, because these are the enemies. This is more for the organizers, I think. Watchers of the Many-Angled One. So these are the enemy factions. The neo-Nazi occultists, yeah, fuck these guys. They worship something they call the Many-Angled One. Yeah, there's information about these factions and countering them, ideas of how to bring them into your game. That's very cool. Very cool. Brotherhood of Thoth. Yeah, very, very rich. Therefore, they're complete assholes. That checks out. And how do you find them? Very cool. I like it. Some additional groups that we can add, very smaller groups, cool. And that table for NPCs, if you need inspiration coming up with a so I like the tables. I'm a big fan. Any game that gives me just tables that I can use in a pinch, bonuses, cool. You're good with tables. You like tables. You know what's like a table? Table of contents. Table of contents. Just putting that out there. But I like, and if we see a table, we're gonna roll on it. That's our rule for this deep dive. You see a table, you're gonna roll on it. Little Johnny tables. Let's see. So these are D10s, no, D20s in each one. Cool, cool. There's our D20. Let's go ahead and roll some NPCs. So a 1-2 who is 3 and 1. So, okay, so this is very, very, very numerous. You are a blank blank who blanks and wants blank. Very close to like I am a clever nano who murders. So let's see. Maybe we are a 16. We are an annoying farmer who, oh, that's a 2, who brings bad news. Oh, god damn it, there goes my dice. Where'd it go? It rolled away. It's gone forever. No. Oh, did I step on it? No. Oh, there it is. The bane of every tabletop RPG player, rolling dice off the table. Who wants, that's a 1, no, that's a 7. Who wants to tell you a secret. An annoying farmer who brings bad news and wants to tell you a secret. And the secret is, you're fucked, apparently. I like this. I like the little NPC generator. Cool. Let's generate a second NPC. All right, come on, let's do it. Number 3, you meet an odd, an odd mentor who has no sense of personal space and wants forgiveness. So Jiraiya Sensei, for those Naruto heads in the chat, Jiraiya Sensei, I have just generated. I like this. And now some places to visit and hopefully return. Again, love the art. Okay, so then places, just actual places. But it's a place where everyone from the anomalous and occult corners can go to drinks, stands, experiences you can have there. Very cool, very evocative. Not going to read them out because I don't want to just give everything out. We got art. We got the night market. I love me a good night market setting. I love this kind of stuff. Yeah. The library. Who doesn't love a weird library? Said to be infinite. Yeah. Oh, I love me an infinite library. You could have just led with the infinite library and I would have just forgiven everything else. Also, the design. Look at this. Look at the design examples. How it's a book. Again, the visual design, the art and layout of this book are gorgeous. No table of contents though? None? Mrs. Lee's Arcade Assortments. I love this. Latest edition of Vampire, The Horny, the best-selling erotic magazine for bloodsuckers of all kinds. I love the little shout-outs. And then we've got a table in case those places aren't enough. Here, you can roll 2d20s and see. So you're going to go to a 13, a buried, 15, a buried mansion. Fuck yeah, who doesn't want to go to a buried mansion? I love that. And that's it. And then we're done. And we have finished the book. So here's the thing. And look, we didn't read, I'm sure there's more. Again, this is the entire system. This is all I'm asking for. 99% of games, their core resolution mechanic can be reduced to something like this. They're almost all something along these lines. They can be on one page. And that page should be right here, like right after your inspirations and stuff. That's where that page belongs, as far as I'm concerned. But what do we think? What did we think about this? Overall, very positive. The book itself. Let's look at the book as a physical object. I like it. It is girthy. It's got some girth to it. Everything about it shouts, fuck off, Nazi assholes. The art, the design, the colors, the paper. Like, this is a beautiful book. Inside and out. I love it. I highly recommend it. Even if you never play it, just as an art book. And honestly, you can use it for some ideas. You can take ideas, which is one of the reasons that I collect tabletop RPGs, even though I don't play. I don't think anybody who collects tabletop RPGs ever really expects to play all of them. And that's kind of what I do. I collect a lot of them and probably never going to play them, although I would love to play almost every game I own at some point or another. But you can always take ideas from them. You can always take ideas to your and take them back to your other games. Like I like that little bit about when you're creating your characters and your looks to ask the other people at the table for ideas, things that that you could add, things how they would see your character. I like that. I really, really, really like that. That said, complaints, right? No index, no table of contents, and I don't, okay, take the following with a huge grain of salt, because I cannot claim to know everything about Wendi Yu's, the author's thoughts on this and their intentions, right? So I may be completely off base here, keep that in mind. But I don't know if this game is a stated anti-authoritarian and an anarchist vibe and goal, which I am fucking down with. I wonder if perhaps that is almost to a point to the game's detriment, in the sense that it is reflected in a lack of organization within the way the game itself is presented. Because there are some sections, like again, table of contents would just make such a huge difference. And if you're not going to have a table of content, then a more natural flowing thing, so that I am not left immediately going, wait, what is this? What is this term? Where is it defined? What does that mean? Especially since I have no way of looking. In a PDF, I can search. In a physical book, I cannot search. So the best I have, if I don't have an index, which almost no games have, is at least a table of contents and go like, okay, well, all the combat things are on page 50, whatever. Okay, well, at least I can go look in that section. I'm likely to find the question, the combat-related question I have. But here, I have no clue. I have no idea. I would literally have to go page by page and hope I run into a mention of combat. Which, by the way, there is no mention of combat. The only mention of combat is in the actual game mechanic, like there at the bottom, this little rule, which is fine, and I agree with. I am not saying that's a bad rule, but also that's it. If you were looking like, where's combat done? How do I, wait, no, we're gonna fight. What do we do? Where's the combat? You're not gonna find it. You're not going to find it. And that's kind of a problem. So, I wish it had better organization. If you get this game, get the book. Support the authors. This is beautiful, and I'm so happy to own it. Get PDF as well. You're going to need it to search. That said, it's not that complicated a system. It's not that complicated a system. Even the Magic one, it's not that complicated. It does kind of have to treat you. So here's a small problem I tend to have, is it's like, you have to be able to treat your players like adults. My experience in tabletop RPGs, however, depending on the game, depending on the player, this can vary, your mileage may vary, etc., 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 is that it's usually for the best if you don't treat them, if you treat them a little bit like kids, and you spell things out very clearly. And sometimes these games that are very like, yeah, just do it, do what you want, do whatever you feel is right, go with the vibe. I get it, and I like it. I'm gonna be very careful who I play it with, right? That's the bottom line there, right? And which may be fine, that's exactly what you're looking for. But it's definitely something to keep in mind for games like this, that you are going to have to be very deliberate with who you choose to play them with. And especially a game like this with such direct anti-fascist and queer and anti-capitalist themes, and which I'm sure a lot of those are covered more in these parts that we kind of skipped over, where we talk about the Bureau and the Watchers and all these different factions. That aspect is covered in there a lot more. I'm not here to read out the entire book for you, right? I do want you to, if you like this, to go ahead and get it for yourself. We're just discussing the system. And within that, I think that's where we see a lot more of that. But also, again, this book comes up straight up and basically like holds up a fist to your face and goes like, if you're a Nazi, I'll punch you. You are not welcome, period. It's not like, hey, you might want to step in. No, you are not welcome. So I like that. I like that upfront approach. I don't think anybody watching this channel regularly would have any issues with that particular approach. So with all that, thanks so much for hanging out. I think we're just gonna go ahead and this is gonna be a short stream today, just 2 hours. Just 2 hours because we actually got through a game, we got through the system. I like how we did it, and then this is something that I can cut down, and I feel, I don't know if this one is also getting a full-on review. It might, or it might just end up being part of a series on anti-capitalist games, in which, you know, Penumbra City and some others might be included. I think that would make an interesting video and approach. I'm not sure I'm ready to write that one yet, but I'd like it. But yes, mission accomplished. Exactly. Why not? We're gonna wrap it up for now. I might, since we did wrap it up early, and I do have a few other things and everything. And I apologize too, because I see we have some extra viewers popping up on YouTube just as I'm wrapping up. Sorry about that, folks. But I do, since I'm gonna go ahead and switch out to, there we go, my giant face. And step back a little so it's not just my giant face. Also, today's shirt is Jane's Addiction. My cord is a little short today. My extension kind of snapped. I had to order some new ones. They'll be here tomorrow. So my range of how far I can walk from my computer is a little limited today. But anyway, Jane's Addiction vintage t-shirt is what we're wearing today. Today's fashion, brought to you by a local thrift shop. But yes, we're going to wrap it up. And I might just do a little video game stream tonight, like after 7 or maybe even 8 p.m. I'm not sure. We'll see how I feel later in the evening, but for now, I'm gonna go ahead and do some housework, relax, do some video editing, which I need to do, and I will be back tomorrow. What game are we covering tomorrow? Well, I'm gonna try not to hit the mic. Tomorrow, we are definitely coming back and hitting Ark. We are going to hit Ark tomorrow. There we go. That's a better view of it. We're gonna hit Ark tomorrow. It's also a very, here, I'm gonna switch cameras real quick just so you can, wait, where is it? Yeah, there we go. So Ark is also a very, but look, right up with, table of contents, wild. But also Ark is also a very beautiful book. It's a little bit better organized. It's got a lot of little details, but it's also, again, a very beautifully designed book with some lovely art, and again, some very defined systems. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where we go, you know, what we see in this game. It's much more sort of, it's got a little bit more, oops, boy, my surface here is being weird. It is definitely, you know, swords and sorcery, draw your sword, draw your spells, etc., etc. But I think this one's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. So this is what we're going to be going over tomorrow. We'll see how long it takes us. It's not a huge book, but as you already saw in that preview, there's a lot more fiddly bits and details. So this one might take us a couple of days to get through, which I'm excited for. So with that in mind, thanks as always so much for hanging out. I will be back tomorrow, Wednesday, yes, Wednesday at around 2 p.m. Eastern, and we'll just kind of keep going as far as we go. We'll see how we get there. Thanks so much for hanging out, and see you then.